let's talk about the top 3 challenges I've had in this garden bed behind me and what I'm doing to overcome them. Welcome to Joy in the Garden. Critters. Number 2, confusing sun exposure. And number 3, just the wrong plant selection. So let's start with number 1, critters. You know, if you garden, you deal with critters. I have bunnies, ground squirrels, not too much problem with deer, but the ground squirrels actually live in this garden bed. They dig their tunnels through this garden bed. For years, they have done that. So I have had to figure out what can I do so that my garden and my plants can happily live right alongside the ground squirrels. So I feel like I can spray and spray for, rabbit and deer and ground squirrel repellents and everything. It just doesn't always work. It's hard to stay on top of it. So in this bed, I've really just tried to continually have plants that the critters don't like. Again, ground squirrels live here. Some of it is also acceptance. So for instance, there's a clematis back there. At some point this summer, that ground squirrel will chew off the bottom of that clematis and it will die. But you know what? It'll come back next year. The critters have no problem with hydrangeas. They have no problem with lady's mantle. They have no problem with alliums back there. I don't think they'll have a problem with the yarrow, which is why I actually added it last year. So I'm really trying to just have plants that the critters don't like, because you can fight it all you want. I will tell you, the ground squirrel has a hole in the bottom of that trellis down there. And I have a coral bell that's been there for years and years and years. And they just have a hole that kind of goes right under there. I'm not even sure where it goes to. I don't even want to know. And then it grows back every year. So it's right here. And so I just place this cloche over top of it. And this year I'm leaving that cloche there until it gets way to the top of that cloche. It can even bend over, because the more mature the plant is, the less the critters seem to like it. Number 2, confusing sun exposure. So I consider this bed here full sun. However, it gets shade in the morning and sun in the afternoon. So you'd think that it would like full sun plants. But many full sun plants actually don't perform very well back here. So I think some of it, because there's actually layers that happen here, and as it goes back further, it's being shaded by the plants that are in front. So I have had to find and really try all kinds of different plants to try to see what will work. So I've tried to make sure that I don't have things in this garden bed that need a lot of sun. So for instance, dahlias. They just don't do well in this garden bed. There's just not enough sun. Foxglove, they just were really, really, really late, and there's just not enough sun. What does like this area here are smooth hydrangeas. And who doesn't like more smooth hydrangeas? So on the left side over here, these are wee white smooth hydrangeas. I have 7 of them there. They love their life there. They're phenomenal all the way through October. So last year, I added a couple ruby smooth hydrangeas right there and right there. So I'm going to, again, keep evaluating. I do have Millennium Allium here, and they love it. I have found that Millennium Allium and a lot of other alliums, they actually love part sun, part shade. They're just as happy in those spaces in my Zone 5B garden. The lady's mantle loves its life there. I had a daylily here. Wasn't enough sun. It was just didn't do very well. So I actually added yarrow right back here last year, and I will see how that does. If that, just is okay here. I have plenty of full sun places that I can move them. So I'm just trying to repeat plants that are really happy here versus just continuing to try something new over and over again. And the third challenge is not the right selection of plants. So this is not a big garden bed at all, but it is a focal point because of the bird bath. And I always plant things in here that the hummingbirds like. It's really when you come in the backyard, you're kind of drawn to this area here. So I found that I just had some plants for too long that I didn't love. So last fall, I ripped them out and I added things that I think I will love. Plant selection has been a little tricky in this space. The hydrangeas have looked fabulous, the green velvet boxwoods, um, but I had some daylilies in here and I had some other shrubs that really just weren't doing much in here. So last year, I actually added this standard Pinky Winky, and it has really helped with the structure of this bed, especially as you're coming over here into this circle garden area and you really kind of, step back. I mean, right now it gets a little bit lost because of the trees behind it, but when it's in bloom, it really adds some good height and structure to this space. So last fall, I added more lady's mantle. Lady's mantle is such a soft, beautiful plant. Now it's in bloom right now, but when it's done being in bloom, the foliage is beautiful. It's kind of like a blue-green color. So I do think this softness, and then I actually also added some lady's mantle over here in front of the container, just to, again, kind of create that continuity over here. And then I removed like a daylily and another shrub, and I added this yarrow because, again, the yarrow is just a softer plant. This is like a terracotta yellow color. So this is going to be really pretty, I think, when it blooms here pretty soon. So this garden bed will never be 100% complete because that's not the way we roll as gardeners, right? We change, we edit, we learn, and we adjust. But I do feel like I've begun to address some of the challenges that I've encountered in this garden over the past few years. I hope you have a great day.